Huge mistakes men make in relationships.
Relationships can be tricky for anyone, but especially for men who haven't been taught healthy relationship skills. It's easy to fall into unhealthy patterns that sabotage intimacy and trust. The good news is that by increasing self-awareness and making some simple mindset and behavioral shifts, men can avoid major relationship pitfalls. In this video, we'll explore some of the biggest mistakes men make in relationships and provide tips to course correct. Whether you're currently coupled up or hoping to be, this insight will help you build partnerships rooted in mutual understanding and respect.
Not communicating your needs, relationship mistakes to avoid.
One of the biggest mistakes men make is not communicating their true needs and desires in the relationship. Many guys take a passive approach, leaving it up to their partner to initiate important conversations or make the big decisions. The problem: your partner can't read your mind. Failing to speak up leads to resentment and confusion on both sides. Instead of staying silent and hoping your partner will figure things out, proactively share what you want and need. Don't just criticize what's going wrong, but offer thoughtful solutions. Approach hard talks gently and without blame. Pick appropriate times to have meaningful discussions, like when you're both relaxed, not distracted, and open to listening. Communication is a skill that requires practice and intention. It won't happen overnight, but making the effort helps your partner understand you better and prevents misunderstandings.
Avoiding conflict, relationship mistakes make.
It's tempting to avoid rocking the boat in your relationship. You may worry that bringing up issues will start a fight or create distance between you and your partner. While it's understandable to want to keep the peace, avoiding conflict altogether does more harm than good. Disagreements and differing needs are inevitable in any relationship. Sweeping issues under the rug doesn't resolve them. It just allows them to fester and grow until the relationship becomes defined by resentment and disconnection. Rather than avoiding conflict, get comfortable engaging in hard conversations. Learn when to speak up versus let something go. Develop emotional regulation skills so you can remain calm and think rationally, even when tensions run high. Seek win-win solutions rather than insisting on getting your way. If you're at an impasse, consider involving a therapist or counselor. Addressing conflicts early, directly, and collaboratively leads to greater understanding and intimacy between partners. The happiest couples aren't conflict-free. They've simply mastered the art of fighting fair.
Being overly critical, biggest relationship mistakes.
Criticism kills intimacy. Nitpicking your partner's every flaw and mistake fosters insecurity and puts them on the defensive. Excessive criticism communicates that your partner isn't good enough and you don't accept them as they are. This gradually erodes the friendship and goodwill in the relationship. Before criticizing, ask yourself what purpose it serves. Does your partner need helpful feedback to learn and grow? Or are you tearing them down to prop yourself up? Criticism often says more about your own insecurities and needs than your partner's imperfections. Focus on praise over criticism in your relationship, especially during conflict. Validate your partner's positive qualities and intents before sharing critiques gently and constructively. Season your feedback with empathy. Criticize the action, not the person. Your relationship will thrive when your partner feels respected and accepted by you.
Failing to take responsibility, common relationship mistakes.
It's easy to point fingers and make excuses when things go downhill in your relationship. But playing the blame game erodes trust. Failing to take personal responsibility also prevents you from understanding your contribution to conflicts and learning critical relationship skills. Next time there's a rupture, look inward before blaming others. Ask yourself, what role did I play here? How could I have handled this better? Taking ownership will strengthen your integrity and compel you towards growth. Taking responsibility also enables you to offer heartfelt apologies that validate your partner's perspective and needs. This helps reestablish connection. Apologize for the specific impact of your actions, not just the action itself. Follow it up with discernible behavior change that rebuilds trust over time.
Stonewalling during conflict, avoid this massive relationship mistake.
When tensions run high, it's tempting to shut down, go silent, and cut your partner off emotionally. This stonewalling behavior communicates indifference, contempt, or defensiveness. It leaves your partner feeling alone, unimportant, and frustrated. Stonewalling sabotages productive conflict resolution. The partner being stonewalled feels invisible and unheard. This often escalates the conflict rather than de-escalating it. Silent treatments also allow bitterness to fester. Instead of stonewalling, state that you need some time to process your thoughts and emotions. Reassure your partner you care about what they're sharing and want to engage meaningfully. Take space briefly if needed, but come back to the conversation with fresh ears and an open heart. Stay present and responsive, even when you disagree. Your emotional availability means everything to your partner.
Overfunctioning, underfunctioning, idiotic relationship. Mistakes you should stop making. Inject yet.
Do you manage every detail of your relationship while your partner coasts irresponsibly? This overfunctioner-underfunctioner dynamic breeds resentment and enables dysfunction. The overfunctioning partner carries the mental load and gets stuck micromanaging things. The underfunctioner fails to pull their weight, fueling conflict and distrust. Disrupt this unhealthy pattern by redistributing responsibilities fairly. Don't take on tasks that rightfully belong to your partner. Resist nagging or compensating for their mistakes. Be patient as your partner adjusts to new expectations. Change takes time. Creating balance empowers your partner and alleviates your burden. It also gives your partner opportunities to step up and gain confidence. A healthy relationship functions through mutual effort and accountability. Divide obligations based on respective strengths and availabilities.
Failing to protect the relationship common behaviors that kill relationships.
It's easy to put other priorities like work, friends, or hobbies above your relationship. But failing to protect your relationship and nurture intimacy leads to disconnection over time. Your partner can start to feel like an afterthought rather than a priority. Combat this drift by actively investing in your partnership. Set aside regular bonding time with zero distractions. Prioritize relationship maintenance through daily check-ins, small acts of service, shared experiences, and physical affection. Build protections that shelter your relationship from outside stressors. Institute phone-free dinner times and other sacred spaces. Surround yourself with friends who support your relationship. Limit time with toxic influences. Your partner deserves to feel and see evidence that they're your number one priority, not an obligation you'll get to after everything else. Consistent caretaking safeguards your closeness.
Disrespecting boundaries the worst. New relationship mistakes men keep making.
Partners often have different comfort levels around privacy, socializing, intimacy, and personal space. Overriding these boundaries damages trust and autonomy. Refusing to accept someone's no also signals that your needs trump theirs. This gradually breaks down a sense of psychological safety in the relationship. Instead, tune into your partner's unique boundaries and respect them. Don't take their boundaries personally or try to change them without consent. Check in if you're unsure where their boundaries lie. Err on the side of giving them space rather than crowding. Healthy relationships involve honest conversations about conflicting boundary needs and collaborating to find workable compromises. For example, a husband who values personal space can commit to spending a few shared evenings home each week. When boundaries are crossed, take responsibility and work to reset them.
Failing to listen. Common mistakes that destroy your dating life.
Failing to listen attentively devalues your partner. When you multitask, offer unsolicited advice, or think about what to say next while your partner speaks, it conveys disinterest and dismissal of their thoughts and feelings. This leads to loneliness and lack of safety to confide in you. Instead, listen with your full focus. Don't interrupt or problem solve right away. Reflect back what you heard for clarity. Ask thoughtful follow-up questions to better understand your partner's inner world. Listening without judgment or trying to fix things fosters openness. It also builds empathy and compassion for your partner's viewpoints when they differ from yours. Make your partner feel truly seen, valued, and cared for through active listening. This strengthens emotional intimacy and trust.
Losing your identity relationship mistakes.
It's tempting to get overly wrapped up in coupledom and lose sight of who you are as an individual. But neglecting your needs and interests for the relationship breeds resentment and frustration over time. And it puts unhealthy pressure on your partner to be your sole source of happiness and fulfillment. Combat this fusion by nurturing a strong sense of self within your relationship. Keep up friendships, hobbies, career goals, and values that light you up outside the relationship. Check in with yourself about decisions rather than automatically conforming to your partner's wants. A healthy relationship is an interdependent system, not enmeshment. Have the courage to be authentic, stand in your power, and honor your non-negotiables. Your partnership will thrive when it's rooted in two whole people coming together, not two half people completing each other. When you feel powerless in your relationship, you may resort to controlling tactics like manipulation, possessiveness, jealousy, or steamrolling. But trying to assert dominance just backfires. It undermines your partner's autonomy and destroys trust. Get vulnerable about your deeper fears and insecurities, driving controlling behaviors. Are you scared of abandonment? Comfortable with unpredictability? Seeking external validation? Then work on healing these root wounds. Letting go of control requires courage and faith. Foster inner security so you can handle discomfort and uncertainty. Respect your partner's independence. Make requests rather than demands. Find mutual power through openness and compassion.
Unhealthy relationship role models. Alarming relationship mistakes.
Growing up seeing unhealthy relationship dynamics with parents or family members can normalize those behaviors. You unconsciously absorb destructive communication and conflict resolution patterns if that's all you've been exposed to. Pause and reflect on the relationships modeled for you early on. How might growing up around dysfunction skew your perspectives? Then commit to unlearning those unhealthy examples. Seek out positive relationship role models. Observe how gracious couples argue respectfully and reconcile. Read relationship books and consider counseling to discover tools your childhood didn't provide. Surrounding yourself with people who model emotional maturity is critical for breaking intergenerational patterns. Like anything worth doing, cultivating a healthy relationship requires intention, commitment, and courage. By being aware of common missteps men make, you can catch yourself before falling into those traps. Focus on emotional openness, empathetic communication, and values like accountability, integrity, and mutual caretaking. Your relationship is sure to flourish when grounded in these principles. Whether you're coupled, single, or somewhere in between, remember that it's never too late to acquire the knowledge and skills necessary for relationship success. Your efforts will positively impact not only your current or future partnerships, but all your human connections.